don't even know when it starts or not. Oh my gosh. There it is. Good morning. Good morning. How is everyone? I am absolutely exhausted is what I am. Hi, Celeste Sauter here. Good morning. It is well, what is it? March 5th. March 5th, 2025. This is Rise and Shine with Celeste, and I'm so tired, y'all. Like I don't have the wherewithal today. So hello, Heather. Good morning. We are just on Substack today. We are super we're just gonna be very informal today because I am so tired. So tired. Um it's funny because I was like, I'm not going live. I don't have anything prepared. I am not going live. I still don't have anything prepared. Like, good morning. I have been in the weeds of my business, and everybody has this season, okay? So I'm not alone. Everyone has this season where they've been, well, not everyone, but if you get to this part of entrepreneurship, this is where you sink or swim pretty much. If you get to this part, and that's when you have a team. All right. And so I was like, I'm not going live, Lord. Like, I'm not doing it. I can't. I'm exhausted. I don't have anything to say. And he reminded me what we've been talking about. Good morning. Good morning. The winds of change have been draining me. I know, right? I was like, I can't do it. I don't have the energy. I don't have the energy. I'm so tired I could cry. And then it reminded me what we were talking about. We've been talking about Nehemiah. You think that, like, directing how the wall is built and rallying the troops and organizing these people, right, was easy. I think people think that the leadership position is the easy one because a lot of the time it doesn't look like the leaders doing the grunt work. But what kind of grunt work did it take to get to that leadership position? Right? And then on top of it, not only what kind of grunt work did it take to get, good morning, Julia, or oh my gosh. Why do you do that, Judy? That's so funny. I was like, no, that's not right. That's not her name. um, Gosh, I just love y'all. Like, I really do. I want to thank you today for encouraging me just by hopping on. Is so encouraging. What, yeah, like what kind of grunt work did Nehemiah have to do to get to the position that he understood how to rally these people? We don't think about those kind of things, do we? See, when you start looking at the characters of the Bible as people and not characters in a storybook, everything changes. Yeah, doesn't it? Sure does. So it's amazing to me. So yeah, I'm standing in my kitchen. One of our dogs got sick last night. I barely woke up at 5:30. I didn't go to bed until after midnight. I am rallying the troops. I have a team of 3 on in my business now, plus me. And I feel like I'm working more now than ever. Yes, I have more clients now too, and the scope of work is different. Not just clients, but I'm my own client too. And so um, I have this team of 3, and we're so inefficient. And yes, it goes from the top down. It goes from the top down. I can't blame anyone but myself. But you don't know that you need a system and efficiencies. Like, you don't know until you know. I wouldn't know that I need all, well, I would know that I need all this stuff. I just didn't know like what I needed, right? Until I got to this point. But now here I am. And I'm tired. And I can either there's a way of doing this that I either sink or swim, and it's not necessarily up to me to sink or swim. It's up to me to get in the will of the Father, stay there. And I've been asking, like, where does where do these lives come in? And honestly, it's this is, oh my gosh, this is for me too, y'all. Get in the water, Judy says. Yeah, get in the water. Refreshing. Sounds like get in the water. It sounds like right now I feel like I'm in the water and drowning. Like I'm like, you know how it is. Got my little doggy paddling. Lots of people want the praise, but don't understand the trenches to get there. Oh my gosh. It's so true. And let me tell you, I wanted the praise. I mean, I guess in a way, did I want the, yeah, I mean, I needed validation. When I started this walk, like, let's go back to the very beginning. I don't think Heather, no, neither of y'all were in the very beginning of my walk. Like, even at 9, when I had that vision of being on Oprah and telling my story and writing my book and all those things, it was for validation. Like, that was what that's what I thought it was for, because I didn't understand God's character, right? Yeah, I know. I was thinking about it too, my vision, the jungle, the waterfall, God's love, being immersed. I wonder what Nehemiah expected. I just know that his heart broke and he started praying, and God answered with, "Go, here, you have all the resources. Go." And Nehemiah went. And what kind of courage it took. But sometimes, it's those people, it's like me, that you start out, you do the dang thing, and then you're in the middle of the dang thing and you're like, why am I here? Why am I here? I'm exhausted. What were you thinking? And you start questioning things. Like yesterday, I was on a call with one of my employees. So yesterday, it was like I hit that brick wall, that proverbial brick wall of I came to the end of myself. I was frustrated. I was tired. I was tired of being inefficient. And it was time to do something to safeguard myself. So it's time to build the wall, right? And it doesn't necessarily, building the wall doesn't keep people out of my life. It doesn't even it doesn't put up a wall between me and my employees, right? It doesn't put a wall up between me and the team that is providing the services and stuff like that, and in my business. But it puts up boundaries to safeguard and protect all of us involved, right? And how many times do we look at those boundaries like they're such a bad thing? But see, my team needs to know exactly what's expected of them. I need to provide that for them, but I also need to protect myself. And if they come to me with a question that could have been answered in their own position or by somebody else, then that right there protects my mind, my time, my brain, like my sleep. Do you see what I'm saying? Judy says they built the wall with one hand on the tool and the other with a weapon. I know. It's really amazing, right? It's really amazing when you think about that. And they didn't look. I really believe. Okay, so hear me when I say this. And again, y'all, God can use everything, including your exhaustion. But one hand building, one hand protecting. They didn't wait for someone to come save them or to come protect them. They took initiative. And I don't know about you, but I feel like it it could be culturally or it's, sorry about the dogs. So much fun. It could be a cultural thing, granted. I would think that they would had cultures that probably were like this back then too. I don't there's nothing new under the sun, even with people's mindsets and stuff like that. But it seems like we're conditioned to wait for somebody to protect us, to validate us, to save us when God's given us He's given us a brain. And yes, he comes and saves us, like obviously, right? We need Jesus is our savior, but what I'm talking about is in like the physical and I'm talking about these like boundaries and if you want to look at the wall as a literal thing, okay, but I mean, I'm talking proverbial walls too of protection. Hey, will you close my door? Thanks. Appreciate it. These proverbial walls of protection. And it's like we wait for the permission to do that. Um, I just got exhausted. I just got out of my own way and started doing the things that I had been like, oh, I don't want to do this. Or I even, I kept on, not kept on, but like, and it wasn't that I expected oh gosh, I have a blanket on my chair that's caught. It wasn't that I expected my employees to just know what to do, but I guess I thought that they would come in, they would find their groove, and we would, find our way. And that's not really what's happening. So somebody has to be the leader. Well, it lands on the business owner. I'm the leader. It's me. And let me tell you, I say it almost every time I get on live, but if it wasn't for the technology available today, I wouldn't be in the position I am to be able to even tell them, show them, or even have processes to document. I wonder what technology was available to Nehemiah and these people that they were able to build a wall in 52 days. Yes, it took manpower, it took protection, it took leadership, engineering, and none of them were engineers, which is crazy. God. See, God, he equips the called. I mean, he shows it time and time again. Nehemiah was a cupbearer. He had the favor of the Lord on him, yes, but he wasn't a mason, like a brick mason. He didn't know how to keep it plumb and level and all that stuff, that wall. And then on top of it, he was in charge of a very big project, right? Judy, you're gonna have to tell me what my answer was because I've already forgotten what I said it. I've already forgotten what I said. Sometimes I re-listen to these things so that I do hear what I say because it ministers to me too, right? And the auditory processing, the verbal, the out loud processing, the more I do it, the more I see that, man, I was meant for this. And I was so overcome with fear and stuff for most of my life that I didn't even know I was an auditory processor because I didn't process out loud. No wonder I was sitting there in 2023 and my mind was my mind broke in 2023. It really did. I think people think that I am being absolutely, dramatic about that, but I know the moment it did. And I have witnesses for it too. I don't know if they would actually. I think, there's a couple of them that would well, about half of them that were there would agree. They know the moment it broke. Yeah, definitely. It's all God. Yeah, you know. Um and 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 I'm so thankful to be here in this moment with God, with the technology, with the ability to learn new skills. I am not organized as a person. As I am organizing my business, I'm looking around my home and I'm like, um, my physical area, my physical space needs organization too. Because see, I don't understand like my brain I'm not going to use that as an excuse, but I am not systemized. I'm not systemized naturally. Some people are, some people are not. I am not. And I'm learning to put systems in digitally, which I excel at. Is I excel in technology. I excel in these digital things. But see, the excelling in them comes at a cost, and that is literally doing the dang thing because I don't want to do it usually. I usually the big breakthroughs come in doing the things I don't want to do. Judy, you help me in so many ways. Judy says, true. You help me in many ways. Thank you, friend. I love you. Anyways, okay, so I didn't want to go live today. I say that a lot, but I like literally, I was like, I'm exhausted. I don't have anything for these people. Yesterday, the wind blew out of like it just blew and blew and blew. It rained here too, which is the strangest thing. Just I was like, what is this? And then I read this prophetic word from a friend, and I'm sure both of the people that are on this live read it too on Facebook, but March 4th, March 4th, it was March 4th, the winds of change, March 4th. Keep marching, keep marching, keep marching. And yesterday, I'm not joking. I don't know what would have happened if I hadn't read that because I kept it at the forefront of my mind. And do you know that friend of ours had the choice in posting that or not. And do you know she probably changed my life by sharing that one word because I wanted to sit down. I was on a phone call with one of my employees. So yesterday I kind of hit a brick wall. I put out like I sent everybody this kind of assessment questionnaire, what's inefficient, where are you having issues, if you were CEO for the day, what would you implement, things like that. And it takes humility to do that, just FYI. But it didn't sting. I needed to know. And so humble yourself, right? Hear where you are lacking. You're not everything to everyone. You don't have to be. That's why you have a team. This I've talked to myself. So I'm on the phone with one of my like employees, and she's the one that's going to ask all the questions. She's also what you would consider the sandpaper. So she's a little abrasive, but she's smoothing things out. Y'all hear what I'm saying? She's a little abrasive because she wants all the answers. She's going to have to learn in not only my business, but in life, that you can't have all the answers before you finish a project, right? You can't have all the pieces. We can definitely get better and more efficient, but usually when humans are involved, the product of the is not usually perfection, and I'm not looking for perfection. And so, but she was asking all the questions, just bam, 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 bam. And I finally, like, after an hour or so, I'm like overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed, and I'm like, okay, I gotta breathe, right? And I just looked at her and I was like, you're gonna get to see the real side of this entrepreneurship, because she wants to be an entrepreneur too. She's very young. She's very, very young. I don't even know how young she is. I need to ask her. I That was something that I kind of thought of today. I'm like, I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know her age, but she is young, and she's teeter tottering on that. She's brilliant, y'all. She's teeter tottering on that place where I'm confident in what I'm doing, but I need constant validation to take the step forward because I am so fearful of failing. Just gonna pause on that one for a second. I'm confident in what I'm doing, but I am so fearful of failing. So I'm constantly having to tell her, or I guess reassure her, give her these small answers. Like, there was something that, oh man, midnight last night, I was like, I can't believe we're still here. She was asking about this trigger point in one of our accounts. And I'm like, I'm not exactly sure why we're here still. And then it dawned on me that she's still young. She's still young. And, we all have those moments, right? We all do. Whether you're 21, you're 42, you're 63, like, it doesn't matter. We all have those moments where we come to that place where we feel really confident in going forward, yet fear, we have the choice. Do we let fear become our bottleneck? So I don't know if y'all understand what bottlenecks are. When you're an entrepreneur, the entrepreneurial world, we talk about bottlenecks a lot because there's inefficiencies in everything. I don't know if anyone, um, no one talks about this, and I'm almost tempted to, like, crank out a book before I put out my memoir, about this entrepreneurial journey and what I've learned by putting my head down the last year and a half. But bottlenecks are things that, like, there are those inefficiencies you come to, and it's like, okay, the flow is going and then it stops, and there's this friction. It comes to, like, whatever, and there's a block in it. We all come, it doesn't matter if you're in business or not, but it's those inefficiencies. It's that, I am confident in what I'm doing, but I'm so fearful of making a mistake. I don't do the thing that I know to do. I mean, we don't have to look very far to find people that are just like this. And that's what I was recognizing last night at midnight when I was reading this message from her, is that she wants all the answers from me before she takes a step. But see, I can't give her the answers that she needs. Those come from her. I hired her for a reason, because she knows the position better than I do. I don't have to know everybody's position to know where they fit or that they would be a good fit for the team. and she's her own bottleneck. We were sitting on this call for an hour, and she's like, we need this system and I need to know this and that, and like we have to have this before I can do that. No, we don't have to have all of that before you can do that. She's becoming her own bottleneck because she doesn't trust her own intuition, her own instinct, her own discernment, her gift. And how many of us are like that? And I started all of this, like this whole diatribe, saying, I read that word yesterday. And I'm going to be honest, I don't get on social media much anymore. Oh man, I'm ready to start posting again. I have a lot of content that's like needs to go out, but we've got systems we've got to get in place. I don't get on social media much. I don't see her stuff a lot. And to see that yesterday, it changed my life because I wanted to sit down and just quit. And that one word, March 4th, the winds of change, March 4th. I don't know if I'll ever forget it. I don't know if I'll ever forget yesterday. Like, I don't know if I'll ever forget that day. The wind blew like a son of a gun. It was cold. It was windy. It rained. Heather said it snowed. She lives a little further north of me. And that one prophetic word that she chose to be obedient and releasing online kept me going. It was such a hard day, y'all. Like I can't even describe how hard of a day it was for me yesterday. Like anytime anybody would come to me, have you ever been in decision fatigue? They talk about it a lot in neurodivergent like communities. Decision fatigue. Months and months of decisions, and I was like, we are so conditioned not to trust our truths. I mean, our gifts. Our truths is God. Like, our truths come from this, but our gifts also are straight from the Lord, and we are so conditioned to need that validation. Yeah. Well, me too, friend. Heather says, I'm drowning in decision fatigue right now. Yesterday, I had made the decision, okay, hyper-focus Celeste, get this done, learn a project management tool. Not everybody knows Notion. It's fine. I think that, if you ever decide to start a business, Notion's a really great way to stay organized. But see, I wasn't ready to tackle it. I wasn't ready to learn it. I was in learning mode of other things until yesterday. I made that decision. And then guess what happened? So you have to plan for distractions. Guess what happened? Distractions came in the way of my family. The wind is blowing and the school let out for the day. So we had a snow day because the electric company was like, they couldn't promise that they would have power. And y'all, everything needs power to work. The doors at the school are automatic kind of thing, right? Like you can't go in and out of the school. I'm sure they have, like safety measures, but like it doesn't work without power. Like, you can't just, and then some of those classrooms don't even have windows, so it's like, I think we're going to let out just in case. So they let out of school. Distraction 1. It was Tuesday, so Grace is at home. Distraction 2. Amber, she's my dog. She's been her stomach's been like a little upset. Distraction 3. Emma made it to States. Now we have to make plans to go south next week. Distraction 4. We don't really have the money to go on said beach vacation to States. Distraction 5. Taxes are due for farmers. Distraction 6. That door was in and out, and then I was on phone calls all day long. Yet I had made the decision that we're going to do this. And guess what I did? I did it. And do you know, like I woke up, I was tired, but now I have these I'm starting to pick apart these processes that I've been doing that my team need to be doing. I'm picking them apart and I'm placing them in a place that they can go and reference. I don't know, y'all. Like, it feels like I'm building a wall and there's systems happening and people being placed at those gates, you know? Judy says, good lesson for God, bottleneck, just quiet. Quiet is a cork. God is the corkscrew. I've decided I am a turkey neck. I love Judy. Oh my gosh, you're so funny. That's so funny. God is the corkscrew. Yeah, I would say so. I would say he's the corkscrew. And sometimes where that all of that stuff it builds with pressure, like champagne or sparkling water, however you want to put it. That corkscrew comes around or whatever. God pops that top, right? He pops that cork, and it's like, whoa, we get to like burst out of there, and it's not in a chaotic, like spewing kind of way where we just spew hatred. It's like we get to be free, that fluidity of life. We don't have to be so rigid. And then it's really cool when you come to the place in life where, I'm looking at my employee right now. She's young. She's brilliant, y'all. She is brilliant, but she's so afraid to fail. And I get it. I get it. I totally understand this. But it's really cool to come to the place in life where you're like, failure is inevitable. It's actually a really great teaching moment. And let's make that the actual goal, is to find something we failed at so that we can learn. And those kind of things used to drive me insane when people would say stuff like that, because I'm like, why would you want to fail? So much shame. Well, shame doesn't have a hold of me anymore. I don't know about you. But if failure incites that shame trigger, then you need to look at that. That is not telling you not to look at it. See, those feelings, we want to come into agreement with those feelings, but if you can just let the emotion pass, which will pass in 60 to 90 seconds, honestly, that surge of chemical reaction in your brain, your body, if you'll actually let that pass, on the other side of that, doesn't have to be shame. It can be, oh, okay, so I need to look at what I'm learning here. What did I learn? Those are yeah. So what am I being taught in this lesson? And I'm not talking about these like super super failure moments where you really need to look at probably the emotional things. I'm talking about, like, why did this email trigger me, or why am I being triggered, um and I don't know. I feel like I'm going down a rabbit hole now too. Okay. So let's wrap this up. The breakthrough, when the cork pops, relief. Oh my gosh. Yes. There's a system. There is a system in building. There is a system in building. And here's the thing too. I said building or planning to build. That is the question today. Well, I'm building and I'm planning to build. But see, I can't be in both places at once without action. building or planning to build. See, we can get stuck in the planning to build and become our own bottleneck. But when you're building and you're also planning to build, you're in action. And see, it's in the action that you learn what you need to plan for to build. Does this make sense? Like it's a never-ending thing. And I talked about the entrepreneurship and the bottleneck and these things and like, oh my gosh, bursting forth and being free. Oh, and knowing that whatever you're building, whether it's a business or a project in your house or homeschooling your kids or whatever, um, it's not going to be perfect ever. It's not ever going to be perfect, but it is going to be beautiful if you let it. But we get so stuck in the perfection that we either get stuck in analysis paralysis or we sit down and don't complete it and it's never fulfilled. It's never fulfilled. And I, for one, am learning that failure is just feedback. And fulfillment comes from taking the messy action. And it just does. And it's not on my own, which is the amazing part. That He cares so much about me. God cares so much about me that He wants to build a digital marketing business with me. And it's for people like my friend who utilizes social media to put out words that change people's life. And I can guarantee you that she doesn't even understand that because she's doing that, because she's healing out loud, because she's sharing, she doesn't even understand that well, she probably does. I'm not sure if she does or not. That feeds into her client base too, because people trust authenticity. They trust real. People trust people. And I'm called to help people be people out there, like online, and share what God's put on their heart and their gifts and not get in their own way. And what if she hadn't put that word out yesterday? I don't know. I might have sat down. I don't know. I don't think I would have, but I wouldn't have had the gumption. Y'all, I held on to that word for dear life yesterday. March 4th. March 4th. I am marching forth. I am marching forth. I'm marching forth, Lord. And you are carrying me. It's really a marching forth, right? When we get to that point of surrender, because I don't even know how I did it. Like all of a sudden I'm looking at this and I have a whole system and I'm like, I literally do not know exactly how this happened, but I utilized the tools I have available. And I surrendered. And now I have this really cool system happening. I understand. My team will understand. We can and we can build and plan to build more as we go. Now that we have a system. Nehemiah had to come up with a system and you can, as you're reading Nehemiah, there's a part in here that it shifted. They were building. He did plan. I really do believe he planned for the distractions, but I don't know if he knew to plan to have one hand building the wall, one hand on a weapon. I don't know if he did. But there's a shift. There's a shift when it happened, right? So it starts, not everybody came together and started building the wall. Like, hear me when I say this, okay? rebuilding the wall. Oh my gosh, I have a dog at my door. Hold on, y'all. Real life. Real life. Come on. Is everybody coming in? Come on. Come on. Okay, well, we'll just leave the door open. Did y'all see my little my old lady butt pad on my chair? I know on podcast people didn't, but a little old lady like butt pad on my chair, y'all. The best thing ever I've ever bought. Anyways, okay, so there's a shift that happened, but see, it wasn't until people started taking action that others stood up and were like, okay, hey. So in the end of chapter 3, it talks about above the horse gate, the priest repaired, each one opposite his own house. So they each started, it was like, oh, we can take ownership here. And it's those people that have to have that permission to take the ownership. I'm telling you, my employee needs permission to take the ownership. And I'm going to have to work with her because, see, I had just gotten off a call with her and gave her permission to take ownership of her position. And she sent me another question that could have been answered in her own position. Yet, here we are, another bottleneck. Y'all hear it? At the end of chapter 3, it says, after them, so the priests repaired, each one opposite his own house. After them, Zadok, I don't know, the son of Immer, repaired opposite his own house. After him, Shemaiah, the son of Shechaniah, the keeper of the east gate, repaired. After him, Hananiah, the son of Shelemiah, and Hanan, the sixth son of Zalaph, I don't even know, repaired another section. After him, the son of this repaired his. After him, one of the goldsmiths repaired his. Do y'all hear me? It was a ripple effect. But it took, the ripple effect started with Nehemiah humbling himself, letting the Lord break his heart, utilizing what he had, and starting the process. And in that, then people stood up and said, hey, I think we want to be a part of this. Building a wall. They weren't just protecting themselves, their families. They were also they were like putting boundaries around their community. And in that, the community grew and became one. I'm telling y'all, I got chills. God's good. Y'all, God's good. Yeah, I'm not going live today, God. I have nothing to talk about. And I have literally sat here and just talked. And I'm telling you, that is not me. That is God. All I had to do was get out of my own way. All I had to do was get out of my own way and recognize that he uses my gifts. I don't have to come with a plan, even. All I had was a word from yesterday, recognizing these like patterns because I'm in it, right? And a word for today, which was, are you building? Are you planning to build? Remember what you're talking about, Celeste? Nehemiah and the wall? And I'm like, oh, thank you, Lord. Okay. All right, so here we go. One of these days, I don't know how we're gonna do this on Substack. What's going on over here, y'all? But let me remind you who my Jesus is. He's yours too, and he delights in you. I really wish I could put a picture of him up on Substack, and I just don't know how to do it, or that's just not possible yet. Anyways, okay. Lord, thank you for this time. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for bringing people that show up day in. Yes, every single day. You have put it on somebody's heart to join me. And Lord, I just thank you for that. I thank you that I don't have to be alone. But even if, even when, even though, I trust where I'm at. I trust you. And I pray that the people that listen to me or join me or watch the replay, that they learn to trust you too, even more, even deeper, with more, and that they get out of their own way, because you have so much fun and adventure and goodness for us, and not all of it is fun and adventure. But when we get over, like on the other side and do that breakthrough, we have that moment of breakthrough, and we burst forth um, with fluidity and not rigidity. Lord, you're there. And sometimes it's in the organization and that rigidity, if you want to look at it like that, where you put structure up, that you find true freedom. That boundaries are not a bad thing, that they are a good thing. And yeah, I don't even know. Lord, thank you. Thank you. In Psalm 32, 8 and 9, I hear the Lord saying, I will stay close to you, instructing and guiding you along the pathway for your life. He does this even when we're building walls, y'all. Um, I will stay close to you, instructing and guiding you along the pathway for your life. I will advise you along the way and lead you forth with my eyes as your guide. So don't make it difficult. Don't be stubborn when I take you where you've not been before. Don't make me tug you and pull you along. Just come with me. Love y'all. See you tomorrow.